what time it is. Whew. We back, baby. Bitcoins, shitcoins, or NFTs. There's no greater feeling than hitting that sweet
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I'm here again, 1 p.m. sharp with Zero Cool. Zero Cool, how are you?
Hello. I'm doing pretty well. Yourself?
Yeah, very good. It was a nice week for myself. So I had an interview with Michael Howell, the developer of the Global Liquidity Cycle and the managing director of Cross Border Capital on Thursday. We had an hour and a half interview. So, well, I wanted to say discussion, but most of the times he just talked and I asked the questions. I will upload that in a week or two. So we will add some graphs and everything. And also because so he works with monthly data and the new data will go live in 2 weeks. So I was thinking, and I talked with him about it, that it's maybe best we launch the video in 2 weeks with all the new charts on it. And yeah, so and then another thing as well. So my brother's wife just gave birth yesterday. So and it's their first child. So I'm gonna be the godfather, and that's why today we're only gonna do a 30-minute episode because I'm gonna go to the hospital right after. So
Exciting.
yeah, that's it. Yeah. So I'm here myself a little bit double. I don't know.
No, I
Okay.
don't know where it's from.
Yeah, now it's fine. So yeah, just half an hour episode. We're gonna talk about Bitcoin and macro like always, and we're just gonna dive right into it. So Bitcoin rised a lot last week, and there's a simple explanation for it. It's mostly because of China. So basically and this is what happened on Thursday. So the 26th of September, China, the PBOC said they were gonna inject 1 trillion yuan, so that's around $142 billion capital into its biggest bank to support the economy. And this is something they didn't do since the 2008 financial crisis. So it's super big. It's a lot of money they're pumping into the system. And it's super weird because I think there's some sort of quid pro quo with all the Asian banks and the US, because they only did this right now after the US cut with 50 basis points. And I also think this is the reason that the US did their 50 basis point cut, because else, if they didn't do it, the yuan would be in a super bad situation against the dollar and it would devaluate a lot. So yeah, this is one of the reasons of the pump. And as well, this was combined with the Chinese central bank that did their rate cut. So they cut all their interest rates and by 20 basis points. And so this is also one of the reasons that it went down. Here from Jeroen, a very good summary, basically. So as I said, they lowered their interest rates and they signaled as well that more rate cuts are coming. And then a lot of other things. So they cut, so they eased rules for second home purchases. They lowered reserve ratio for banks, pledged 100 billion to support equity markets. So basically the TLDR is just, there is going to come a lot of liquidity into the system. And the famous quote is, liquidity that is somewhere has to go somewhere. So basically what does that mean is there is going to be money, and the money will flow into assets, and the more money there is, it will flow into the more riskier assets. And as we know, Bitcoin is super correlated with global liquidity. There was, I don't have it here, but there was 2 days ago as well, Lynn Alden wrote a research report on it. And Bitcoin correlates best with global liquidity in all the assets in the world. So, and what I mean by that is the directional movement. So 83% of the times when global liquidity goes up, Bitcoin goes up as well. And that's the asset with the biggest correlation in the world. So very clear, everything is going up. So global liquidity is going up. So this is a new weekly update from Cross Border Capital. So basically the biggest firm in the world of liquidity, their data is the best in liquidity. And as you can see, the spike in liquidity is huge. And as we know, Bitcoin lags global liquidity by 8 to 12 weeks. So if you see this, you know, in 8 or 12 weeks, Bitcoin is going to pump. Another very good thing is, but I don't had it open, so I'm just gonna show it real quick. So as well, I'm gonna do it like this. Gold precedes moves in Bitcoin. So what does that mean is after gold rises, 3 to 6 months after it, Bitcoin rises. So it's a bit of a bigger lag, but as you can see here, so if we go back 3 to 6 months, so basically this is what we had in the summer. Gold was consolidating, and this is what Bitcoin did 3 months after, now in the summer. And as you can see what gold is doing, gold is going up. So 3 to 6 months later, and we're getting there, it will be next month or in a month or two, Bitcoin will follow. One thing I want to say before we go over to the interest rates. So as I said, the Chinese liquidity is very, very important, and there's a lot of liquidity coming into the system. And as you saw, the Chinese stock market, it just exploded. It pumped super high. And that's because all the liquidity is currently there. So it pumped all the Chinese stocks. But that doesn't mean that liquidity will not move over the cross borders and will go up into the world. So basically, Bitcoin moves on global liquidity. But since Chinese liquidity is going up, this will move into the system and will move over the borders and will move in every country. So it's normal that first the Chinese equities pump, but over time, this will go into the overall world economy and will move into Bitcoin. So don't worry, the Chinese capital will flow in Bitcoin as well. Then, so as everyone knows, and we talked about it last week, the Fed cut their interest rates by 50 basis points last week, which was enormous. And a lot of people were scared that this indicates a recession and everything. But like I just said, I think it's just because there was like a meeting with all the Asian currencies and with the Federal Reserve that they had some sort of agreement that they will cut 50 basis points, or else the Chinese yuan would just die basically. Yeah. So yeah, that's the reason, and just because they did 50 basis points is super good for Bitcoin and equities as well. So what's happening for the next rate cuts? It's almost a 50-50, leaning towards a 50 basis cut as well. But what's important for this is it's 2 days after the elections. So we're not going to see any more rate cuts or FOMC meeting before the elections. So this will be after the elections. So this will be very... I'm excited to what's going to happen. You never know. I'm going to talk about the elections a bit later on because it's one of the more important factors right now. But first of all, the ETFs. So this is a visualization from Carpe Noctem. You see very good the inflows from every issuer here. And we saw a lot of inflows last week. So institutions buying back again, and we saw that on Bitcoin's price rise. And what I want to say about this as well is Bitcoin and Ethereum as well, but more Bitcoin is the only coin with an ETF. And that's why I think this cycle, it's going to be more of a Bitcoin cycle instead of the other cycles where we saw a lot of altcoin pumps. But the reason we saw these altcoin pumps was because, so it's basically the cycle theory that people made money into Bitcoin. And then because they made money, they moved further down the risk curve with their profits and into altcoins. But the thing now is all these institutions that bought the ETF or even maybe normal people that bought the ETF and made some profits on their brokerage account, they cannot buy altcoins. So with their profits from the Bitcoin ETF, they will not be able to buy altcoins. The only altcoin they can buy is the Ethereum ETF, which for the moment doesn't have any traction. A little bit right now, but that's also why I think maybe Ethereum is going to do well this cycle because it's the only altcoin with an ETF.
It's lagging. I've always been a big believer. If you watched our streams, I'm a diehard old school Ethereum head, I guess, but I think it's coming. Yeah. The glorious candle, 10%, 20%.
I think so too. And then yeah, sorry.
You can go back to the previous tweet of
this one.
Noctem. Yeah, if you look at the inflows from ARK, which is Katie Woods, I believe, they've been 2 days in a row. They've been like 100 million.
It's a record day.
Second day was 200. Yeah, a record day for her firm. It's very interesting.
I think it's just because we're going more towards risk assets because more and more liquidity is coming into the system. We're at an all-time high of global liquidity. The more liquidity that's into the system, the more risk on we're going to go.
Yeah.
And ARK is a tech and risk fund. So maybe that's one of the reasons.
Mm-hmm. And I think that should be the stream title, by the way, Risk On.
Risk on.
Risk on.
All right, and then as I always show, you're gonna think it's a meme, but it's super weird. So this is the best September month in whole Bitcoin history, which I find amusing. And the thing was, so because everyone knows this, everyone dumped in September. So in September we're like minus 10%, and so we dropped, and now everyone bought back again. And the seasonality is looking great. And if you look at October, October is looking great. Q4 is looking great. So in terms of seasonality, Bitcoin's looking towards a good quarter.
Yeah, like said, I think 2 weeks ago, that seasonality is a bit of a meme. And well, it's up 11%, highest yet. The month has not closed, but I don't think it's going to move much from here. Like, I don't expect it to drop another 10% or something. So looks good for Q4.
Yeah, and the reason why I think Q4 will look great is because of the FTX creditors. So why do I want to say this today? Because I'm an FTX creditor as well. I had some money into FTX that I just forgot about. It's crazy because I said to all my friends, yeah, take off your money, the exchange is going down, because I was following it super closely and basically believing all the rumors. But for some reason, I don't know how it happened, I had still some money into FTX, and it was not a low amount. It was kind of a decent amount. And I knew about it because I received an email. Yeah, you got money on FTX. Do you want to recover it? So I'm an FTX creditor as well. And I got an email today saying that, okay, everything is over. We got all the information. And now we're going to start the process of paying everyone back. But they said as well that they they didn't define a date yet. So we don't know the date. But if you hear the rumors, it's going to be Q4 this year, so in a couple of months, or Q1 in 2025. Why do I say this, and why is this important? Because this is $16 billion, and it will be in dollars, not in Bitcoin, that's going to be given to crypto people that believe in the Bitcoin and the crypto ecosystem, that will most likely buy back. Because even when you had Bitcoin, Solana, or any other altcoin, they converted it to dollars. So if you want your crypto again, you have to buy it back again. So I think when the definitive date, when they will say when the coins, when the USD will be released, I think we will pump on that, because everyone will...
On the news, yes.
We will pump on the news, yeah. Because everyone thinks that money will flow into Bitcoin and crypto, so everyone wants to front run it. So this is 60 billion that's coming.
A little caveat, what people seem to forget is, and you included, I think, a lot of these people who are creditors also sold their shares to hedge funds and stuff.
Yeah, sure.
And that for pennies on a dollar. So saying they had, I don't know, $10,000 worth of claims, they sold that for $1,000, probably a little more, to hedge funds and stuff. So it is 16 billion coming out of FTX in dollars. I do not believe it's gonna all flow back into crypto, not all 16 billion.
Yeah,
hedge funds who bought pennies on the dollar are not gonna rush to buy Bitcoin with it, right?
Yeah, true. But it's a net positive because it's in dollars.
It's absolutely a positive, and there will be billions probably flowing back into crypto from this.
Yeah.
But not the full amount. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, of course. So last thing I wanted to say is, and what I was saying before, are the US elections. The US elections are going to play a big part into Bitcoin and the stock market in general. But only in the short term. I really believe in the long term, this, you couldn't care less about this. It's nothing is gonna affect in the long run. But this will be very important in the short term. In the short term, I think if Trump wins, we're gonna go higher, and if Kamala wins, we're gonna go lower. That's just how it is. We saw the correlation that Trump had with the stock market. So when the odds were higher for Trump, we will see the stock market going higher. So we just look at the data, and that's just how it is. And I think as well, especially for crypto, because Trump is more pro crypto than Kamala, we will see Bitcoin going higher. But in the long term, this will not change anything because we have the problem with all the debt. The debt needs to be rolled over with more debt. So the liquidity is expanding. And if it's Trump, if it's Harris, they will have to do that. So, and that will happen. So there will be more liquidity into the system, no matter who wins. So risk assets and inflation hedges, especially monetary hedges like gold and Bitcoin, will move higher. But it's good to say as well, because the elections, it always plays a big part. So, and this is an updated chart from All-Star Charts. I think I showed this last month or something. But there's always turmoil around the elections because the markets, they don't like uncertainty. When there's uncertainty in the markets, doesn't matter bullish or bearish, just uncertainty, the markets go down because no one likes it. They try to move back a little bit, just watch and don't be allocated. And we always see it happening just before the election. So in October, we always see the drop. That's why I'm still a bit hesitant. For the moment, I'm 100% all in, but I'm still hesitant that we will really pump. So maybe I'm going to sell a little bit here because we pumped, and as well the RSI, the daily RSI is overbought. So maybe a drop is coming, but for all the indicators are super bullish. So that's why I'm not touching anything. I'm 100% exposed, more than I should maybe. But just watch out for the elections. And yeah, the RSI doesn't lie as well. And it's also, the RSI is, that's an indicator that's just data on a chart, but you can also see it in your daily life on, for example, on crypto Twitter. Everyone is bullish now. And that's a social signal that maybe it needs to cool down a little bit.
Yeah, so we're gonna rename the stream from Risk On to Risk On Astrofix. No, I do believe that going into the elections, you should tread with more care, and
no leverage.
If you're 100% exposed with leverage or just in spot, be careful.
Yeah. So
personally, I'm gonna take some profit soon, just to have bullets to buy if stuff starts trending down again.
Exactly, and that's what I want to say.
In October.
Just looking at the charts, and it went a bit quicker than my my squiggly line here. So I don't want to take profit here. So my plan was to take profits around 69k, maybe just under 69k. So that's what I'm gonna do. So for the moment, I'm 100% allocated, and there's a reason to be, because global liquidity is expanding a lot, and I have a lot of reason to believe that Bitcoin is going over 100k in 2025. So that's the reason why I do this. But I'm also watching the charts 24/7. I'm here all day. So if I can make a little bit more money along the way, why not do it? So my plan going forward is sell when we go a little bit higher, or sell when we move closer to the elections in October. Because I do think, because of the market uncertainty, 2 weeks before the elections, we will move down. No matter where we are, if we're here, we will move down a little bit. But if Trump wins, we will have a V-shaped recovery into an Adam and Eve, and then we will move higher and make new all-time highs again. You can see it as well, just looking at the Ishimoku trading system. We are way above the cloud, way above the Tenkan and the Kijun RSI on the top. So it wouldn't surprise me if we will cool off here a little bit. But myself, I'm super exposed, but still want to cut a little bit here. Where do you want to buy? On the top of this range, which aligns perfectly with the yearly pivot point, the R2. Here, that's why I drew this chart the way it is. Top of the range, R2 pivot point. And I think if you can buy here again, if it drops, that's a good buy opportunity in my eyes.
So 62.5 to 60,000 basically.
Yeah, somewhere here. But it can all change in the coming weeks, and we will keep you guys updated on our Saturday stream.
Yep.
So that's my part. Maybe just a little shout out because I'm always happy to see who's in chat and who's not. So Bilal says hello and happy weekend. Always watching and love your Twitter. Keep going. So thank you very much. I love these comments and the chat. And then Zander Enketa says one. Don't really know what it means, but thank you very much for commenting. All right, Zero, cool. It's up to you.
All right, let's start with some data that I find interesting.
Oh, and another new comment, Woof1122 from Twitch says dope insight, guys. Thank you very much. And now it's up to you, Zero, cool.
All right. Well, Velo has very interesting data. They do charts as well, but they have this overall dashboard view with liquidations, analyzed basis. The one I tend to look at is like the returns per day. And this is data from 1 week, and you see weekends, as always said, super flat, right? There's no movement on weekends. If you zoom out 2 weeks, what do you see? Monday a little bearish, but Tuesday and Thursday apparently very bullish. Traded on a week, and you see weekends a little bearish, but overall the week bullish. And I think that's the trend we've been setting since 52K. Flat or a little down on the weekend, and then a Monday dip into full recovery by the end of the day. I think that's very important. They also added Hyperliquid data, which is interesting because Hyperliquid is rising and it's being hyped up a lot. It's being called the next Binance on chain. You should try, if you haven't played around with Hyperliquid, you should play around with it. I think it's an interesting product. And it has potential to be the Binance on chain. Maybe a little overhyped now, but they keep delivering. I see no reason why not. But let's go to the charts, more interesting. So, I think the thing that's been posted the most, high, low, higher, low, lower, low, higher, low, higher, low, and then we have this break to higher, low. And then last week we were here. Question was it gonna post a higher high? And yes, it broke this high.
Yeah, that was super important.
People are saying, so people are saying, this is a higher low, higher high than this one. Structure is broken. We're gonna go up. I think you need to take it with a caveat. This was a high. This is a low. This is a lower high, but this is still within this structure, right? This is within the structure. For me to actually have a full market structure like shift, it needs to break, stop with the snap. It needs to break 70,000. Once it does this, or this even, for me this is a structure break here. This is not a structure break yet. Is it bullish? Absolutely. I plan to take profits here. I'm gonna aggressively take profits on my positions that I have now. A lot of people are already charting 80K, 100K. Can it go 80K and break all these highs? Absolutely. But not with the elections in sight, honestly. I don't see it. I think maximum pain would be either take 70 and then you back to 50, or 70 and like down and up. I think this would be the most painful for most people, price-wise. Just break their sanity because they're like, it's a structure break all into 100,000. I don't see it happening. And I think the most important part is be ready to be risk off fast, because yesterday there was some war news going on. And if they start on pull-out war in the Middle East, then be careful. We've seen it with Ukraine and Russia as well.
Do you have your chart that you posted on Twitter lately with when there is a war, it's a good buy opportunity?
I can pull that up quickly.
And it's not because it's a good buy opportunity, but it's because there is a war. The central banks are going to print more and more money, and that's why risk assets will move up. Not because the war is bullish. Yep. No, not at
all. The war is absolutely not bullish, but we've seen in history since like the 60s, every time there is a war and they start invading, the stock market just turbos up. And it's
because your fiat currency devalues, because there is a lot of money printing.
Uncertain. Yeah. So a shakeout to like 50,000, I would not put it past me. Absolutely not. But yeah, this is why I want to de-risk a little bit. I'm not saying there's gonna be a full-out war with invasion, but I wouldn't put it past me just before the elections to fuck with everybody involved, all the markets involved. It would be pathetic timing, I think. All right, so we've been saying that you should get in start allocating. Me and Jack are 100% allocated. I think you have like a couple bucks left that I was going to use for the Bybits World Series of Trading that starts in a couple of days. That's the only dollars I have left. I am fully allocated in stocks. I'm fully allocated in crypto, but I will de-risk. I'm going to grab my Silico terminal. These are my live positions with the money in private mode, so you can see how much I'm trading. And personally, I think that's important that you don't see how much people are trading. Doesn't matter if you trade $5 or $500,000. The only difference between those two numbers is how you execute and your entry and your exit. That's the only difference between those sizes.
I think you even trade better when you yourself don't know the amount. It's like, for example, poker chips. Just because they are chips, you always make the right decision, because imagine you were playing with €1,000 or something, if it's a lot for you. But these are just chips. Then you will just play and always make the best decision, and that's how you should do it in trading as well.
Absolutely. And this Silico terminal, completely free, by the way, also has that option. If I click on my unrealized, it can flip between account percentage, realized percentage, and dollars. I'm not going to click on it because then you know my sizes, but now on my BTC trades, my account is up 44%. So my total value that I have in my account, if I close my position now, I'm up 44% on that. 44% in my mind is not a lot. If I click on this and it's in dollars, I'm like, holy shit, that's a lot of money, and I am more eager to close. And it's just like Jack said, because it's not in dollars, you treat it differently. And I'm a very small fish. I don't trade with size at all. But I can imagine somebody like, I don't know, who trades millions and millions and millions. If you see like unrealized profit for like $1 million, be like, what the fuck are you doing? Close now, right? Anyhow, point being, we're going to show you where I want to exit. I want to exit with a spike above 96,000. Put it flat on 96,420. And then a pretty big shorts into 72,000 with a stop above... at 74, and 74 is an all-time high, I believe.
That looks so good.
Stop at all-time high. Can I draw on this? Probably. Yes. So what I want is a spike and down. If we start doing this, and like my thing gets hit and it goes down like this, all these are getting removed. I'm only interested in trading this. And ideally, this should be like a giga liquidation candle. Where the price is pushed up by liquidations and there's zero support buying up here, because who wants to buy 72,000 when the rally started at 68, right? So I am looking for a liquidation event into my candles, into my short order. And yeah, liquidation, a big spike up, not a grind up with like idling below my entry. Absolutely not what I want to see. How can you position from here? You could wait for the dip. I think 62.5 to 60.
Yeah, that's my target as well. Like I said,
that's where buy the dip. But with how we've been trading, it is basically vertical accumulation, right? This is up. There are no dips. At one point, and I think this should have been here, you should have jumped on board if you were still sidelined.
I think that's what we did with our last capital, and that was during the FOMC speech from Powell, when he said the market is good, but we're gonna do a 50 basis point cut anyway.
Yep. I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, the reasoning on this short is uncertainty and risk off into elections. War is always on the table, unfortunately. It's just how life is. You should not trade with war on mind, but it is there. And I think with the elections, it's a very good possibility. Not gonna lie, these shorts that are stacked up here, naked asks, pretty dangerous way to trade because there are always uncertainties. And this is a big size, probably the biggest position I would have in the entire year. And I'm willing to risk, I don't know, this was 2.5%, I think. I think my average would be 71, 4%. So I'm willing to risk 4%, which would be, I don't know, 40% of my this to this. Quite a big amount of percentage to risk. But I think it's worth it, especially if it's a liquidation candle. And where do we go from here if I have my entry? Back here and back here, I think like 72 to 60 would already be a nice like 15-ish% move.
Just watch out because all the macro signals are pointing bullish. So
right, exactly. And it's for can I clear this? Yes, perfectly possible. It does something like this, right? And goes back up. If it spikes up, I'm just gonna and it drops down here to like below 68, I'm just gonna put stop, break even, and this is more a gamble than an actual trade for me personally. That's how I'm positioning. Is there a chance that we do this? Absolutely possible, but less likely, honestly, with elections.
It's a very good setup. I like it, and I think I will follow you, but not with leverage short trading, but more with I'm gonna sell some of my spots where your red lines are.
Yep. And also gonna do that. So this is leverage. This is my leverage trading account. I am gonna take heavy. Let's say 10-15% of my entire account, not my cold wallet, just the entire account. 15% sell here, and have it left for spending on friends and family. It's very underrated. You can make a shit ton of money with crypto, and you can invest your entire time into it, day in, day out, night in, day out. But if you don't spend it on people, on your friends, on your family, well, what's the use, right? You need to, if you make money, you need to spend it on friends and family, otherwise it's not worth doing, in my opinion. And I will cash out like 15%. I will put a lot aside to do that spending, maybe put it in a account that earns some interest while it's waiting to be spent, but it will be put aside. And also want some bullets left just in case we do go back like 70 to 60 or 70 to 50. The ultimate fuck you, like I said, would be a spike up and then down back to 50. And if we're here back at 50, I can promise you your entire timeline, including Kappa, will be like, we're going to 12K, guys. Yeah. One scenario that I've been thinking about that is also very likely, I now have my stop loss for my long at break even, give or take. But if it gets back here, I'm just going to double down on long again from here. And I'll do it with more size. I don't think we're going to see sub 52K from here. I don't think this is possible. I think it will be this, if anything. If it drops, it'll probably be this and not the 50K. And I'll
watch out if Kamala wins. We're gonna see maybe a very spike down. A lot of longs will be liquidated, and that will be a massive buy opportunity.
Yeah. The question is, if you long here, where do you put your stop, right? Under this low. Under this low, if you remember from our streams before the summer, where did I say never put your stops? Just below the obvious points, right? So how do you play that? I don't know, long the stop where you was gonna stop. Because personally, if I get stopped out on a trade, I'm like, this is actually a good position to enter, and I open a second trade. And if I lose that trade, I'm done for today. So long your own stops is actually a good like entry for like finding an entry. It's like, oh, I would enter here. This is my stop. Then maybe don't take that and be a little safer and long your own stop from the first trade you had planned. But that's for the downside. I don't think we're gonna see downside. I think we're just gonna go up. And yeah, close the long, take heavy profits and open a short, and till until after the elections.
Yeah, good.
After the elections, I'll be risk on, balls to the wall. We're going to all-time high after the elections. Will it be this year? Maybe. If Trump wins, it's very possible. Kamala wins, it's less likely, but I wouldn't rule it out. I do think, regardless who wins, we're gonna see all-time high, which is like 74K Q1 next year, I guess, and then 100,000 maybe if we're lucky. Also, don't think, which is maybe if you zoom out, we've just done an entire summer of, this is already 6 or 7 months, I think. Almost 200 days of a sideways compression. This doesn't go to like 70,000 to go down. If this breaks out, well, actually breaks out from here, it's gonna go 100,000 plus, and I think 100,000 is a conservative number.
I think it's like
120,
the bigger the base, the bigger the breakout, or something like that.
Yeah, this is an entire compression. Money's just sludging around, and the more you like the ball underwater effect, right? The longer you push this down, the higher it's gonna jump out when you let go. I think that's probably what's gonna happen once we break all-time high properly. And yeah, that's it for me.
Right.
That's how I'm planning to trade. This is live data. Come liquidate me, I'd say.
No, it's great. It's very. I'm gonna do the same, but just with spot. I'm gonna sell where you want to short, and I think it aligns perfectly with all my macro data and with the elections coming up. I think it's a good place to sell if you're 100% allocated like we are. And yeah, thank you very much. And then so there is a question in chat from Raged Yedai. So maybe I can answer it first, and then you can give your thoughts. So it's, how do us low capital retail make it? And that's a super difficult question, because every person in the world is like in a different scenario. It can be your risk tolerance, it can be your age, it can be your capital, how much you already have. So it's super difficult, but let's say just a general advice. So in crypto, we have these cycles which are driven by global liquidity, and as more liquidity is into the system, more and more people will go risk on, and all the, how can I say, dog shit will move higher. So I made a chart, and this was like the whole year, basically my pinned tweet. And this is still, I'm not showing my screen. Let me show my screen. And this is still effective today. So basically how it's going to play out. And you have to look at it in long-term cycles, because in this cycle will always be small mini cycles as well, but you have to look at the bigger picture, and we're still at the Bitcoin phase. So Bitcoin still needs to make new all-time highs, move up, and then we will go towards the lower coins, and that's where you can make the most money. So basically when I made most of my money was in 2017, 2018, when we had like a really crazy altcoin cycle, and we will see this again, maybe a bit less, like I said, because the ETFs will play a big part, and there are no altcoin ETFs, so the profits from that will not flow into altcoins. But altcoins will move as well, and it's your time to research all the good opportunities. So what can you do? And what I did before was research a lot of low altcoin gems, are they called. Be early. Engage with the community, be in their Discord, so you know the alpha, and find good projects, and that's where you can make a lot of money with the low amount of capital, is if that's what you're looking for. So like I said, still in Bitcoin, but when the bull run is really raging, then it's your time to move further down the risk curve. And we will say that as well during the stream. So every Saturday, we will talk about how we are positioning. And I can assure you, when the time is right, we will play the altcoin cycle as well. So we will move into altcoins. Another thing what you can do with low capital, but that's not something I do because I don't have the risk tolerance, but that's something what Zero Cool does. So that's why we work good together on this stream, is just trading with leverage. And if you think you're a good trader, if you think you have an edge over other people, and if you're certain that your position is right, instead of just buying spot, you can buy with leverage and be a good leverage trader. That's not something I recommend because I've seen a lot of people lose a lot of money with it. I think the statistics are like 95% of traders make money. So only 50% lose money. So only 5% makes money. So you have to think by yourself, okay, am I within the 5% best traders in the world? If the answer is yes, you can try that. If the answer is no, research and try to make your money with low altcoin gems. If not, there's no rush. The tip I can give as well is there is no rush. You have your whole life. You have a lot of time. Just allocate and try to make money every year. And there's a thing called compound interest. And because of compound interest, if you make the right decisions every year, your capital will go up and you will be able to retire in let's say 10, 20, 30 years. It doesn't need to be this year or this cycle. Just play the long game, if I can say. What do you think, Cyril?
Very good answer to start. I think it starts with never invest money that you're not willing to lose. Let's say you're living paycheck to paycheck, your bank account is as good as empty because of whatever reason. Let's just say it's the economy and most people's bank account is empty. If you have $500 left at the end of the month, which is already for most people lucky, don't take $500 and throw it into altcoins without research. Very short term, sure, like Mudang, people are making millions of very small sizes. You can get lucky like that, but that's pure gambling. That's riding the current meme wave. We've seen Pump.fun on Solana that made people millionaires out of nowhere. Now I think it's an app called Moonshot that's being hyped up and rising in trend, which is actually a top signal if I think about it. Should like track app stores for apps like that, unregarded out to the subject. Don't do that. Don't risk capital you can't afford to lose. If you have a proper income and you have some money saved up and you're in the situation that you can be more risky, then yeah, sure, sprinkle a little in meme coins, but don't expect it to make you a millionaire. I wouldn't advise leverage trading. If you do try leverage trading, don't go above X3. Sure, you can go to 100 or 1,000, and there are phases in the market where it's up only, and you can, with low leverage ×2 or ×3, you cannot lose money. You need to be, you just can't lose money in certain phases. It's just all goes up. If Bitcoin does a 10% candle, everything is going to follow, and it doesn't matter what you buy. There is going to be a time when every single coin, doesn't matter what you buy, you can throw a dart at the top thousands on the coin market cap, pick a coin, buy it, and next day it will be worth 10% more, and the next day it will be 10% more. And then you'll be like, wow, this is insane, I'm going to sell now. And then you wake up after you sold and it's like another 20%. That phase will come. I think it's going to come soon, within the next year. So be allocated, but don't be over allocated. Make sure it's all risk appetite, right? Like Jack said, you can be riskier by leverage trading, but you shouldn't use leverage to have more capital. You should use leverage to have more or less risk and not more capital to trade with. And for now, I think if you're like, I don't know, I'm gonna sprinkle $100 here and there, either learn how to trade properly from scratch, and it will take years and years before you be able to really build a system that works for you. And the system always changes, by the way.
And it's important that you learn a system yourself.
Yeah, don't copy trade.
Yeah, because
the copy
obviously
trade
we
products
can
are-
we can give some tips one time a week on this stream, but maybe tomorrow if something changes, we're gonna change our view and it can be already different. So it's best that you understand it yourself as well.
Yeah, there's a ton of researches out there. Anybody can learn how to trade from their computer or laptop or phone even, but you need to put in the time. And it all comes down to how much money do you have on your bank account that you're willing to lose. Because again, it's probably rule number one in crypto. No, rule number two. Rule number one is not your keys, not your crypto. Rule number two, you need to trade or play with the money that you're willing to lose. Don't take out a loan for 10,000, start leverage trading with that, nuke your account within a week, and have $10,000 in debt, because then you're fucked more than what your starting position was. And that sounds horrible, but there's some couple Twitter accounts like Crypto Confession, I think it's called. You see stories like that all the time. It's heartbreaking. But it happens, so really be careful. I would not advise leverage trading. And if you do, low amounts, do it for a while. Maybe start paper trading so it's fake money and try to work with that. Build a system. The resources that are out there, and there are stories of people starting with, I don't know, $500,000 and trading their way up to millions. And for some, they're at $1 million, they cash out and they're never seen again. Props on them. I'm afraid I'm addicted for life, and I'll be doing this until I'm not able to hold the tablet anymore in my hands when I'm in a retirement home, I think.
Nick
I'm
X
sucked into the
Crypto
matrix.
on Twitch says rule 3 is buy the rumor, sell the news.
Yeah, but that didn't really work out with ETFs, did it? I was like, sell the ETF news, and then we had like a 2 or 3% dip, and then we went up for, I don't know, from, what was it? 30 to 60.
No, we had a dip until 38k, but then we moved up. But let's wrap it up because I need to go to the hospital. Like I said in the beginning, my boyfriend's wife gave birth to their first kid, and I'm going to be godfather, so I need to go to the hospital today. Let's do our predictions. So it's crazy again. So you are just on the dot, on the level you set. The price is, so it's a really amazing prediction. So well done, and I'm gladly giving you the points because it just moved up this week. So I made a lot of. Maybe I lost the bet, but I made a lot of money because I'm super allocated. So it's fine. I'm gonna give you the points. I'm happy to give it to you. 5-2. You're the better trader. We know that. What do you think for next week? Where are we gonna be?
Ooh, I think we are gonna wick 70,000 and be at 66. Let's move it up. Leave it where it is.
66.
Yeah, I think on the 1st of October, we'll pump into 70,000 and then we'll retrace.
Yeah, the thing is, so like I said, super bullish in the long term, but it's always difficult, especially for me, because I'm not a trader, to predict where we're going to be next week. So I'm super bullish in the long run. We're going to move past 100K with certainty. But like I said, we're a bit overbought at the moment. So I think we're going to range as well. And
oh, we're moving it lower. Okay.
No.
Nice.
No. I'm still thinking because I think we're going to range.
Okay.
So you're saying we're going to range as well. I think I'm going to put it super close next to yours because if I just follow my squiggly, I'm a bit too high at the moment, but I still think we're going to range.
Okay.
But I'm going to put it above you.
Above. Okay, that's fair.
Let's do 67. I'm going to do 67. Okay.
Maybe you should give yours another color so it's obvious that it's yours.
I'm going to be green.
Okay. Okay, nice.
Yeah, so everyone, thank you for all the questions in chat. I really appreciate it. So we always upload this video to YouTube. So if you guys want to be live in recording, want to ask us questions, we're here every Saturday at 1 p.m. So for example, Nick X Crypto, he asked, hello guys, did I just make the big alpha? just watch it back on YouTube. And if you want to ask us live questions, like we just answered the question from Rage Jedi, just be here every Saturday, 1 p.m. We will be here and we will gladly answer all your questions. Anything else to say, Zero Cool?
No, be allocated, but be ready to buy the dip into elections. And see you next week.
All right. So thanks for watching. Leave a like, leave a comment, and then we see you next week. Bye, guys.
Bye.